If LinkedIn has felt different this year, quieter, harder to read, or less predictable, you're not imagining it. 2025 marks one of the most significant shifts we've seen on the platform in over a decade. Not because of one update, but because of 3 changes happening at the same time. Understanding these changes matters because responding to them the wrong way is what's causing most of the frustration I'm seeing. For a long time, LinkedIn rewarded activity. Post regularly, engage often, follow best practices. And while quality always mattered, the system was relatively forgiving. That's changing. LinkedIn is moving from being a social feed to being an interpretive platform, one that decides what you're about, who you're relevant to, and when your content should be surfaced. That shift sits underneath everything else we're seeing. The first change is the one most people notice immediately, a drop in reach. Posts that would once have performed reliably well now struggle. Consistency no longer guarantees visibility, and posting more often makes no difference at all. This isn't a punishment, and it isn't random. It's LinkedIn becoming far more selective about what it amplifies and why. Reach is no longer a reward for effort. It's a signal of relevance and clarity. The second change is the shift from posting to engaging. This is strategic rather than technical. For years, the dominant advice was simple: post more. And for a long time, that worked. In 2025, posting alone has no longer been enough. The second change is the shift from posting to engaging. This is strategic more than technical. For years, the dominant advice was simple: post more. And for a long time, that worked. In 2025, posting alone has no longer been enough. LinkedIn is placing far greater weight on how you engage, not just what you publish. Thoughtful comments, meaningful responses, and visible participation in relevant conversations are now stronger signals than standalone posts. They show context, they show relevance, and they show how you contribute beyond your own content. Here's a simple example. Imagine 2 people posting once a week on a similar topic. One publishes their post and moves on. The other posts once, but also spends 10 minutes a day leaving thoughtful comments on posts from people in their industry, adding insight, asking smart questions, and responding when others reply. Over time, LinkedIn doesn't just see the second person as a content creator. It sees them as part of the conversation. Their name appears more often in more relevant contexts to more of the right people, and that's the difference. Engagement helps LinkedIn understand who you are in relation to others, not just what you say about yourself. A well-placed comment on the right conversation can now do more for your visibility than another post added to an already crowded feed. The shift here is important. Success on LinkedIn is moving from performance to participation, from broadcasting to being part of the ecosystem. And for many, this actually reduces pressure once they stop trying to keep up and start showing up with intention. The third change is the least visible but the most influential: 360 brew. This is LinkedIn's new internal system for building a holistic view of you over time. It doesn't judge you on a single post. It looks at patterns. Your profile, your content themes, your interactions, your engagement quality, and your consistency are all blended together to assess what you're about, who you're relevant to, and when you should be surfaced. This is a move away from moment-based visibility towards cumulative visibility. One strong post can no longer compensate for an unclear overall presence. So the three biggest changes shaping LinkedIn in 2025 have been these. Reach is more selective, AI is interpreting everything, and 360 Brew is assessing your entire presence, not isolated moments. LinkedIn isn't broken, but it is different. And success now comes less from tactics and more from clarity, alignment, and intention. If LinkedIn feels harder than it used to be, this shift explains why.